Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Coach Caris, Itchy, Bitchy and guests. How are we all? I thought you're all grand. I hope you're all grand. Sorry, I can't get my laptop. See, this is the joys of a new house. Everything's a wee bit different. I actually like sitting down the stairs and doing my podcasts in my new smaller kingdom tiny house. Mainly because we've still got boxes that need unpacked in the office, in my office, which is hilarious. So we have a bedroom and we have an office. 2-bedroom house, all right? It's teeny weeny. Have I told you this? I think I'm quite impressed with this. I can hoover the whole house from one plug socket. I love it. If I plug it into the plug socket just as you go into the office, I can get the landing done, the bathroom, the office, the master bedroom, all the way downstairs, the hall, the living room, the kitchen, the utility cupboard, the wee loo. Do it all from one plug socket. Anyway, very exciting. Best thing we ever did, by the way. Like, absolute best thing we ever did was move. It's not until sometimes you're out of a situation that you realise how much it was actually preying on your mind. So we moved for a lot of reasons, right? But the imminent reason was that I was bloody freezing, like always freezing, and it was making me really crab it. And I knew that I was always cold. I didn't actually realise how bad it was until we moved out of the house, right? So obviously, if you've listened to the story as to why we ultimately moved, right? It's episode 100 on my podcast. All right, go and have a wee listen if you've not got that far yet. But yeah, it's not till you get out of that situation that you realise maybe how much that situation hindered your life. So effectively, when I got up in the morning, by the time I got down the stairs, so I'd get up in the morning, put my gym gear on, sort my shit out and come down the stairs. And by the time I got downstairs, my hands were freezing already, right? And it was working its way up my arms. So I'd be sitting on the sofa with as many clothes as I could, as was like actually possible. So like a vest, a t-shirt, a jumper, sometimes a fleece on top of that, or a hoodie on top of that, with a cup of coffee. Right now, I know part of that was me, like the house. It wasn't like sitting in an icebox. I know part of that. It's a whole perimenal thing, having freezing cold hands and stuff. And I've probably got, I don't know, I've maybe got bad circulation. I don't know. Anyway, and then knowing that I was leaving the house to go and work in a cold gym, most gyms are cold, right? That's not really the issue. To come back up the road to sit and work on my laptop in a cold house, just wasn't the best. And I knew it wasn't the best, but it's not till I come here. Look, I'm in a vest. I'm actually in a vest and shorts. Right, I was out this morning for a walk, had my jacket off and everything. So whereas before you would never see me outside, like maybe in shorts, granted, but very rarely would you see me without a long sleeve top on, because I always like to wrap it around my hands, because my hands were always freezing. Anyway, I was out this morning, had my jacket off and everything, just out in my shorts and t-shirt. It was absolutely lovely. So it sounds it's going to sound like a total dramatic statement, but it's actually life-changing. Like, life-changing. To be fair, I think this house is particularly warm, right? It's brand new. Well, it's 2 years old. It's got solar panels. We haven't had the heating on since we moved in. It's just warm. It's just super, super, super insulated. We don't have a duvet on the bed. We've just got the duvet cover because it's so roasting. And it's just lovely. It's actually just really nice. Anyway, I knew me being cold was an issue, obviously, but I didn't actually realise how much it was like destroying my wee brain, and how much of an effort it was taking me to do that and to stay motivated, etc., because I was so cold all the time. Probably didn't help that I've spent a lot of the last year in a calorie deficit, losing body fat, and I've come out of that obviously, and I've had a break, but I'm doing it again. So I'm in week 2 of the final stage, basically, and I'm not cold. So must have been the house. Anyway, that was 4.5 minutes of chat, right? This podcast is not about me. Funnily enough, right? This podcast is about, well, it is a bit about me, because it's my podcast and it gets to be about me, but it's about tomorrow. So when you're listening to this, I'm going to set this up for tomorrow, so it'll actually be the day of the event, all right? But I think tomorrow's going to be a bit emotional because it's a pretty epic day for my wee family. So tomorrow, my mum is moving house. Right now, this has been a long time coming. This adventure, we both started this adventure in, I think it was maybe February. But we've been speaking about it for years before that. Pretty much, we were always going to try and get a little bit closer together. But because of where I work, we couldn't necessarily move to my mum's because, well, we could have, but I would have given myself a 50-minute commute, which done my days of commuting, wasn't actually prepared to do that. So we were kind of deciding, well, we were kind of waiting on my mum deciding if she wanted to move through this way. And if she decided that she didn't and she wanted to stay where she is, 40 to 50 minutes away, right, it's fine. We totally would have worked around it and everything would have been like cool. There would have been no drama. It would have been absolutely fine. We actually considered at one point, well, I considered at one point, Cal did not consider this, I considered at one point trying to build something in my mum's back garden for me and Cal to live in, like a cabin or something, right? Cal poo-pooed that straight away. That's why he's a sensible one. And I'm like, ooh, let's do this. This is dead exciting. And he's like, no. Not that he's a party pooper. It's just like really realistic. Anyway, my mum is moving house tomorrow, right? So I think it's going to be emotional, especially for my mum, right? The house that my mum lives in at the moment, her and my dad bought together at 33 years ago, and it was like was it 33 years ago? What was I? I was 17. 73, 83, 1990. Oh, bloody hell, 36 years ago. 1990. That's 36 years ago. Wow. Anyway, it was to be their forever home. All right, and then unfortunately, massively unfortunately, my dad died when he was 58. So I think he'd only got. He didn't get very long up there. 13 years, maybe 14 years. Anyway, right, my dad was 58. So my mum's been up there on her own since then. 79, 21 years, pretty much. So mum's been up there on her own for 21 years. So she's been up there longer without my dad than she has been with my dad, right? So it was never my childhood home. My mum and dad moved up there when I think I was 17 or 18, and I'd been out the house for a year or so. So it's never been my childhood home. I have stayed there once. Do you know when you do that? Maybe you've never did this. Do you know when you're younger and you just like keep rebounding back to your mum and dad's because you've like lost your job or had a breakup or something? Anyway, I only rebounded back there once, thankfully. I don't mean that nastily. Like, they're obviously, my mum and dad are like amazing, but my dad's opinion was that I had to keep my strength up. So I wasn't eating very much. So anyway, he made me eat boiled eggs, 2 boiled eggs a day, and milky tea with sugar in it. And I swear to God that even now, I'm all right with boiled eggs now, but the thought of milky tea with sugar in it just makes me want to actually vomit. Anyway, love him. He was obviously looking after his bairn, which is cool. Anyway, so my dad died at 58, right? And obviously that was a massive life lesson and a massive learning curve. But the biggest thing that came out of it was that that we don't have all the time in the world. We don't have all the time. We don't. Like, it's not infinite, our time on this earth, definitely not. But quite a lot of the time, I hear it from a lot of different people, do you know, they want to do this, but they're going to wait till this, they're going to wait till then, they're going to wait till the kids have left school, they're going to wait till the kids are out of uni, they're going to wait till they've got a better job, they're going to wait till they're a bit fitter, they're going to wait till whatever, right? And there's no guarantee that you're actually going to get there. So whatever you want to do, my lovelies, you should just be fucking doing it right now, all right? Taking control and doing what is best for us now, right? That's why we moved. That's why myself and Cal moved, right? Now, I've had this, and the whole idea has been instigated by me. Obviously, I've spoke about it with Cal, and he also decided that it was a good idea, but it probably took us about 4 years maybe for the planning and everything like that, right? Getting all the finances sorted, getting the house done up so that we could sell it. So it's been a long journey and it's very exciting. My mum, on the other hand, is just like, fuck it, let's go. We're doing it. To be fair, her house was in, obviously she's been doing it up now for 33 years. So in our garden, I've posted a picture of her, a video, of our garden on Instagram, and it was absolutely amazing. In fact, I've got another one. I might be popping another one up with a link to this podcast tomorrow. Our garden is absolutely beautiful, right? She's opened the garden through, there's a yellow book. Is it the garden? I can't remember. Anyway, she's opened the garden to the public before. It's just like, it's absolutely stunning. And it's huge, to be fair. It's absolutely stunning. Anyway, she's leaving all of that, right? So we got to February and she's just like, well, I'm going to, if you're moving. So I told her we put the house in the market. She was like, well, if you're moving, I'm coming too. So there was so many options, right? So we were going to speak about, we were all going to Nairn at one point, which was obviously just a bit of a pipe dream because Cal's working and I'm not ready to give up what I'm doing yet. So that's not going to happen. But I remember sitting in the car with her one day. I can't remember where I'd taken her. I can't remember. And she turned around and she says to me, sometimes I've just got this feeling of impending doom and I'll never actually get to go to Nairn with you. I've got a lump in my throat saying that. And I'm like, do you know, that's heavy shit. But realistically, right, she's probably not. If that's the ultimate goal, to move to Nairn, I'm not sure that's going to happen in the next 10 years. So we don't actually know if that's feasible. Anyway, we've rented a cottage in Nairn in October because she's never been to Nairn since she was about 10. So me and Cal and the Doug and my mum and her Doug, we're all going up to Nairn as well for a wee holiday. So that'll be lovely. I feel like I'm away off on like 50 million tangents. I actually feel like my brain's going to slightly explode because it's been filled with obviously moving house. Somebody said to me the other day, do you know, don't guilt yourself for not doing it. You've for forgetting about that thing. You've had quite a lot on. Well, yeah, do you know, we have had quite a lot on. Anyway, my mum's all sorted. But for us, right, it meant downsizing. That was our ultimate plan, was to downsize, right? The house is amazing. I can't think of one thing that I miss, in all fairness, which is pretty amazing. Cal misses his basement. Well, Cal misses his basement when I ask him to build me something, because that was where his tools and everything were. Anyway, that was our priority, right? So tomorrow, history repeats itself. And I suppose it's like, it's a bit bittersweet, I think, to be fair. Do you know, but my mum, honestly, an absolute queen. She's 79. She's an absolute legend and an absolute queen. 79 years old. She's fighting fit, still driving. She's got a dog, obviously. She's still all there. Although sometimes I think, well, our filter's definitely gone. Our filter was never that great, but it's pretty gone now. Anyway, she looked at her life, right? She decided that while she was still fit enough and healthy enough, that she would move closer to us. So she's going to end up about 10 minutes away. I think she's measured in the car. I'm sure she told me it was actually 8.5 minutes, right? But it's about 10 minutes away. But she wanted to do that while she was compos mentis for a start and fit enough and healthy enough to make the decision, sell her house, buy a new house, and then actually enjoy her new house. Now, I realise that this could all go to shit, right? And she could actually, just like my dad, could be alive one day and dead the next, right? But we just don't think about things like that. Not in the daily anyway. So I'm sure that's not going to happen. And she's going to have many happy years to come in her new house. But what she didn't want to do was she didn't want to sit around and wait for her life to be dictated or wait for her next move to be dictated, right? So she's in a small village at the moment. There is a shop. It's just a local shop. It's tiny. There's a pub. That's pretty much it. The post office comes in a van. The library comes in a van. There are about, I think there's about 4 buses a day, right? So not a great amount of buses, to be fair. Should she ever be in the position that she can't drive, she would need to get her shopping delivered. That's not really a drama, except she doesn't do online banking, but we would figure that out. And it's more about, I suppose, we don't want to take away our freedom. We want to keep her freedom for as long as we can, basically, right? So the place that she's moving to has a doctor's, it's got a hairdresser's, it's got a library. It's got a supermarket, it's got some cafes, it's got some pubs, it's got some takeaways. Do you know, it's pretty much got everything that she could need, should, for whatever reason, she not be able to drive. Anyway, she's fiercely independent. Fiercely independent. But we are also very realistic, and we are of a family that we've always spoken about money, we've always spoken about death, not in a morbid way, but in a practical way. Like, I've had a pension since I was 19. For example, at my dad's instigation, I've always known where the money is. I've always known where everything is. I've been my mum's power of attorney for about 15, 16 years. So we've always had an element of practicality about us. And that's why I'm saying that we're pretty realistic, because we understand that she's not going to be fighting fit forever, and she's not going to be able to drive forever. But instead of waiting for a crisis to force a change, all right, which I get it, a lot of people do, she's just had, like, honestly, she's just so mentally strong. She's just had the immense strength, and I suppose the clarity as well, to move on her own terms, which I genuinely can't ask for anything more than that. She is a legend, she is a queen, she is an absolute inspiration, right? And if I turn out to be half the woman that she is, I will have done incredibly well in my life. So tomorrow we're going to be a bit emotional. I have to take a picnic with me for lunch, because obviously we'll be waiting on the keys and stuff. The removal men are coming up today to pack for her, because she's got a lot of stuff, more stuff than we had. And then hopefully it all goes to plan. Not like the riot that it was when we moved in here, when we never got the keys till 3:30, and then when we got the keys we walked in and the people that were moving out were still in here, along with half their stuff. But you know, we got over it. Anyway, my mum, 79-year-old, she's going to close the door on one chapter. So I'm going to go up there tomorrow. I'm in work for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to go up and get her, say cheerio with my dad, because obviously he's up there in the house and in the garden and floating about in the ether and stuff like that. Take Jasper, he can play with Ava, and just make sure that she's all right. But anyway, I have to take a picnic, which is fine, so I'll do that. We're going to go and find somewhere beside where we're picking the keys up. We'll take dogs for a walk and stuff just while we're waiting, and then we'll get home, we'll get into our new house, and then my auntie and uncle are coming through. That's my mum's sister. There's literally 5 folk in my family. Cal, my mum, my auntie and my uncle. My auntie and uncle are coming through. They came through here actually. My auntie is like, she is like the kitchen organisational queen. She had all my kitchen boxes unpacked and everything was in the cupboards. I couldn't find anything for about a fortnight, but it doesn't matter. She's totally done it and it was awesome. And then Cal's finishes his work at 3, so he'll be coming straight over as well. Cal's been tasked with setting up the television, because obviously that's a top priority. Anyway, so it's going to be quite emotional. Yes, there will be tears. If I see my mum greeting, then there's no way I'm not going to greet. Obviously not. And obviously I'm going to try and hold my shit together and not cry first. Anyway, but she's going to close the door in one chapter and start a brand new one on her own. So it's like a solo adventure, which she probably never thought would happen, and I never thought would happen. I thought, you just assume, don't you? I just assumed that my mum and dad would be in that house for forever, never, never, never. And do you know, you don't actually know. Like, if my dad was still alive, we don't actually know whether they would be moving. They would be moving anyway. I mean, they would maybe both have had a conversation. Like I said, they're very practical. Do you know, we've always spoke about money, we've always spoke about death. We're a very practical family. That they maybe would have decided that they were too far out together for the pair of them, and they maybe would be moving anyway. We just don't know that. Anyway, this is something that I talk about a lot, and I don't mean my dad dying, although I have started talking about that more, but just about letting life happen to you. And given, I've actually had 2 conversations with 2 separate clients this week, at yesterday and Monday's check-ins. What day is it? Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday's check-ins, about giving control to other people, and it's actually making you not manage your goals. I won't go into any details, all right, but letting other people control your life or letting other people dictate what you do and when you do it is not always the best thing. I'm not speaking about work, right? I mean, obviously, if you've got a job and you're an employee, you've got a boss, right? To a certain extent, you've actually got to do what you're told, and that's fine. But there's times to do what you're told. There's times to be a rule follower, and there's times to actually take control of your life and decide what's going to work for you and what isn't. And then actually have the lady balls to say that and to do the things that are going to help you get to your goals, right? But there's a lot of women out there, just what I said at the very beginning of this podcast, that are they're just waiting on the perfect time to make a change, right? And the chances are that perfect time's never going to happen, either because you're going to be dead, right? And you're going to die with an unfulfilled life, or something else is going to happen. You're going to get even more comfortable in the situation that you're in, and not actually make any changes. But there's a lot of you're waiting on it being less busy, or you're waiting on the perimenopause passing, or you're waiting on the kids growing up, or you're waiting on the kids finishing uni, or you're waiting until life feels a bit easier before you take control of your health, right? And your body, and ultimately your happiness, right? Like life isn't a drudge. It's meant to be one big fucking adventure, admittedly with some boring bits in between, like working and paying the bills and stuff like that. But also, totally had a conversation with somebody else. I was in Booker's this morning in the cash and carry, right, buying 24 cans of Diet Pepsi. I've got myself a Diet Pepsi addiction, right, and that's to do with being in a calorie deficit. I'll speak about that another day. And I bought some ham for our picnic tomorrow, and I bought some strawberries, because I like strawberries. Strawberries, by the way, are quite, they're super tasty, especially just now when you get the Scottish strawberries, right? Take them out of the fridge before you eat them so they're at room temperature. They're like super lovely. But they're also quite high fibre and quite low calorie for the amount that you can get. Like you can have a gigantic bowl of strawberries for no very many calories. And I bought some, what else did I buy? Oh, I bought some gym coffee for the gym, coffee beans for the gym. Anyway, I bumped into Giovanna, right? I've actually forgotten the point in the story, but I'm going to tell you who I was speaking to anyway. I bumped into Giovanna. Now, Giovanna owns the Croft and the Creel if you're in Falkirk, all right? And if you've never been, you should go. The food is amazing. She is half Italian and half Orcadian, so from Orkney. Didn't even know that was the thing. Anyway, their food is amazing. I've had monkfish up there and it was gorgeous. Cal is a lover of their steaks. And they've also done a couple of taster menus, which is amazing. I genuinely cannot believe it was something about taking control of your life. Anyway, Giovanna looks amazing. She's lost quite a bit of weight over the last couple of years, but she's also on an epic adventure to climb all the Munros. I can't actually remember what number she's on, but she's added cycling into her repertoire as well. Anyway, that might come back to me, but if it doesn't, I've just mentioned the Croft and Creel, so you should go. If you're in Falkirk or this area, you should go. It's amazing. Anyway, right, you're just waiting on life being less busy before you take control, right? And it's not cool, because chances are, right, life's never going to get less busy. You're a midlife woman, right? We're always busy. All of us are always busy. Always. You want something done? Get a busy woman to do it, right? And it'll get done. But back to my mum, sorry. So my dad, he didn't get the chance to grow old, right? 58. So 21 years ago, 58 was young. Right now, 58 is ridiculously young. I'll be 53 this year, so I can't imagine not being here in 5 years. Like, I've got so much that I still want to do. Right, anyway, my mum is now 79. She's pretty much reinventing her life tomorrow, and she's going to make the most of every single day. She is so excited about our new garden. It's a totally different shape, and it's not anything like the garden that she's had. Now, the garden that she has at the moment, it was literally a grass field when they moved in, with some trees, the bush things, what they call liliandeli, sticking up out the middle of the grass. So the garden that she had then, I must see if I can dig out a picture actually. The garden that she had then to the garden that she had now is pretty much 33 years in the building, building it basically. So this garden that she's got now kind of wraps around the house on three sides. So it's a totally different garden. It's nowhere near the standard of what hers is at the moment. So she's super excited about that. She's already planned out the side bit and she's thinking about planning out the front bit and stuff. So anyway, she's going to make the most of every single day that she's got left, right? Which is, I mean, let's face it, right? Could be another 20 years. Could be 5 years, could be another 20 years. We just didn't know. But what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? What goal do you have that you've said to yourself, do you know, I would really love to do that? It doesn't have to be a fat loss goal or a nutrition goal or a fitness goal. It could be anything. It could be climbing a Monroe. It could be climbing that big mountain in Glencoe. Can't remember the name of it. It could be doing a cycle. It could be anything at all. It could be getting a new job. It could be reinventing your career. It could be going to uni, right? It could be anything. Like literally, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Because if you're waiting on getting less busy or something passing or, you know, the kids growing up or whatever, right? It's just, no, just don't, right? I need you to stop dicking about with your time. I need you to actually take control of your life. I need you to make a decision, commit to that decision and take one step towards it every single day. Most of us do not make any changes because we're scared. Right? That is ultimately why we don't do it. So we think of this goal and then we don't actually believe that we can do it. So we just don't. Because if we don't start, we can't fail. Whereas ultimately, if you don't start, you've failed. Just long and slow and painfully over the next 20 years. So I want you to take inspo for my mum. 79, by the way. She's an absolute legend. Absolute legend. 79. Right, so tomorrow I will be off of active coaching duties, although I am coaching in the morning for a couple of hours. And am I training? No, it's a rest day tomorrow. But I will be helping my mum move house, obviously, because it is actually all about my mum. Like I said, this has been going on from February. I feel like my head's going to explode. So we put our house in the market. My mum put her house in the market. We sold her house. My mum sold her house. My mum actually bought a house first before us, to be fair. We bought a house. We moved. This is her move in tomorrow. All right. So just send us some good vibes, folks. All right. Maybe a wee tissue. Maybe a wee hanky. But anyway, the whole point of this podcast is I want you to stop waiting. I want you to go out and grab whatever you want by the fucking balls. See you soon, my lovelies.